of all of our natural materials, Mammoth is my favorite to work with. It's strong enough and soft enough that working it is very appealing for a maker, but at the same time it does provide some very beautiful textures and beautiful natural finishes that are hard to come by in other materials. However, we do have some synthetics. So this here specifically is what is commonly referred to as Detroit agate. Detroit because it's automotive paint, agate because it's layered up. So we have many layers of different colors of car paint that just accumulated over time as they painted bodies and frames and all those things. I do not recall exactly which plant this came from, but it is a very beautiful material to work with because much like your car, this stuff polishes up to a super high polish. It'll rival your car if I do it right. Some of the other things that we end up using is coral. So that is just a coral that's washed up somewhere. It's been stabilized with resin, so all of that black is a resin that's been impregnated into the coral itself. It will likely get some of this nice blue G10 glued beneath it, and then as it gets machined out, you will have a nice cross section of coral and kind of a minty blue color. Kind of get that ocean feel out of that. So those will get tied together. This antler, or excuse me, this mammoth is actually being tied in with some kind of a honey yellow G10, just to give it a little contrast so we can mix it up just a little bit. Some of the other stuff that we use also comes from Mammoth. This is Mammoth molar. So that is tooth. The teeth on a Mammoth are absolutely massive, and as a cross section you can see the different layers of that tooth itself. So you can get these layers of calcium and enamel that we have on our teeth as well, and you'll have all these layers that go across. Now, because it's tooth, it is a little more brittle than the ivory or the tusk is. It also stinks. It smells terrible when manufacturing. It doesn't smell right now, it doesn't smell while you're holding it, but as I'm grinding it, it smells like 10,000-year-old halitosis. It's pretty terrible. But it also polishes up really nicely. It is absolutely gorgeous stuff. Like I love using it. I hate smelling it, but I love using it. And when it gets sliced out like this, it's also been stabilized, much like the coral has. So this one's had a natural color kind of allowed for it to occur. There's a lot of the guys that prepare this stuff, they'll give it a cut, kind of figure out what color it is, and they'll mix the resin to match that so you have a natural finish. The last batch of molar that we did was bright purple. Had some nice color, nice pop to it, but it certainly wasn't natural by any means.
How you painting that?
That one will probably get a little bit of yellow too, truthfully. That or some black. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. One of the other things we're looking at using this, while it looks like Mammoth, you can tell it doesn't have that same kind of sheen or polish to it, is actually Swordfish bill. So we have the ability of utilizing some of these materials that exist in nature that are a little abnormal, just to change things up a little bit. So the Swordfish bill is interesting. It kind of has that same almost like antler type feel to it, but I believe it's more closely related to cartilage in fish, and it has a rather interesting pattern on the back of it, but it does have that same porous feature that a lot of antler has as well. So we will get to figure out how nicely that polishes up here in the near future. This one is also Mammoth, but rather than being molar, this is the cross section of the same tusk. So rather than being cut off a section along the side here, this is like cutting a log through the middle and seeing those same growth layers in the Mammoth tusk rather than just getting the bark off the tusk. So that gives us a nice look at the cross section of what is in there, and you can see those stabilizing resin layers, because as these things have sat in the permafrost for thousands and thousands of years, they've obviously started to decay and fall apart, and you're able to take those sections and stabilize the whole thing. That way you can get a nice representation of the Ice Age in your pocket.